yeah, with repetitions, you achieve basically three things. One is you passively memorize by repeating so many times. Secondly, you let your muscles to remember, so you create a muscle memory, and that somehow also would reinforce your ability to focus on the right sensations in your mind. So you learn through repetitions how to focus on the right things repeatedly. Then you sort of upload it through your muscle, so muscle brain remembers it. And then as a result, also you memorize a piece. Okay? But yeah, memorization is never ever an active goal in any stage here. That's like very funny
Yes.
because most of my questions that I receive from people is how do you sight read and how do you memorize the music? I was like, there's two things that I actually never teach in my system.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Let's talk about other things. Oh, you didn't know other things existed. So, yeah. So let's say you compound the whole piece, repeating by sentences, by two, by four, by 2 pages, by 4 pages, the whole piece done, following a very diligent, direct, clear plan, right? But then what happens is that you play and you have those annoying mistakes. How do we call it? It has a name. Again, we don't avoid it. We don't pretend it doesn't exist. We don't
Uh-huh.
think something is wrong with us. We actually
Mm.
label it and we know how to work with it, right? So we call it a weeding stage.
Uh-huh.
The weeding
Yes.
because in the garden that we made, and it's a live garden, so there's always something is growing, right? So there's sometimes weeds that we don't like, and that will always come up. In fact, I have so many stories collected about the same topic. Students got the piece. They're almost finished. They're almost there. They expect that they will not play without any mistakes. And then the mistakes just grow in the middle of nothing. And they get frustrated. They think, I'm stuck. This is my plateau. I can never make it just 100%. I'm just stuck on this 99.9%. This is because they don't realize that the weeding stage, in fact, it's a life stage, lifelong stage. It always happens. Even if you play the piece through the whole year, you should always expect that you will always have a winning stage. So,
Mm.
in my personal practice plan, in the morning, I will spend some time learning a new piece because my mind is clear. In the afternoon, I will spend some time to have a winning stage in 2 pieces in my repertoire. In the evening, I just take everything I have, my whole repertoire that, for example, I need to currently play, and I just play through the whole repertoire just once, use it as a beautiful meditation time for myself. But that winning stage you will always have, so it's always there. It's a never ending story.
That's very interesting you say that because I don't know. I very strongly suggest you to watch the documentary of Nelson Freire.
Mm-hmm.
And in the documentary, there is a moment, a whole chapter in how Nelson Freire every day practice the octaves passage on the Brahms Concerto number 2.
Okay.
And it's very interesting because they have like 30 recordings of Nelson Freire alone in a room practicing the same piece, the same passage, the same bar, slow, fast, in a medium tempo, with
Mm-hmm.
staccato, with forte, is very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. It's like years and years and years, like 20 years.
It never ends. So yeah, the idea is to embrace the fact that it's a part of your practice. And it doesn't say that there is a plateau, it just says that, well, you haven't done the work you should be doing. Okay, now, since we're talking about it, what is the exact method? So in the beginning, you don't have to do it all the time, but just to start retraining your mind to focus on that, because usually when this happens, we sort of getting blurry because we don't want to accept that it happened, or we think, oh, this is accident. So it's just to really train our mind. Attention, attention. Take that sticky note and, okay, I made a mistake right there. Even if you can only, you play through the entire piece, you don't stop when you have a mistake, you continue. But after you finish, you remember where it was. I always sort of kept in the back of my mind when I play. I was like, I keep playing, but okay, I remember that one. And even if you could remember one or even two, that's enough. Let's say you made 5 mistakes, but if you could remember one, that's great. Then you come back to it, right? You can put a sticky note on it, and you can say what was exactly wrong, right? So it could be memory sleep, it could be feeling insecure about your technique, if accuracy, even also speed, right? Or just in your mind, you were uncertain about the structure of music. You were not clear where am I? What am I doing in terms of phrasing and form? Yeah. So you correct those errors. Yeah. You identify the problem. You know what kind of antidote you need to use for this particular problem. You use it. Then important part is integration, right? So you repeat that part in a slow tempo, faster and faster. And then the step 3, integration in the larger block of the piece. Because what usually happens, I don't know how our brain can be so dumb, but we can practice those 2 bars and we play them perfectly, but as soon as we start playing one line before or from the beginning of the piece, by the time we reach that place, it's like we never really practice it. So something really happens, and I think it's about the connections, because you just practice that part, but you never really practice in your mind. It's in the connection to the another part. You never practice it as a part of a bigger part. Your mind doesn't recognize it. So when you play the bigger part, you still come back to the old pattern.
Yeah.
So the last step of integration and then practice again diligently in 3 different tempos, repeating maybe 5-10 times in each tempo. It's important that you started maybe 2 sentences before. And then you create this connection, and then something clicks, and then you start playing from the beginning. It works, everything. So very, very important, because most of the students don't do that last step. So this is your reading stage, which usually precedes the learning stage. Okay, so learning stage, reading stage, usually I sort of get them together under the label of learning stage, but it's 2 parts.